Hey everybody, good morning. Welcome to a new episode of today's Best Stock Picks. My name is Pete Renzulli. Thank you so much for joining me today. We're going to focus on whether or not you should be buying Home Depot stock today heading into this morning's earnings. We have a couple of other bigger companies also reporting earnings. We're going to get to those in a few. We're going to talk about Bitcoin and Bitcoin stocks today, whether you should be buying these Bitcoin stocks as the Bitcoin got crushed over the last week or so. A lot of external tweets crushing that stock a little bit, and some of them are actually finding a little bit of a bottom here. Not technically perfect yet, but if Bitcoin bottoms, these stocks should reverse, and you might be getting a good price down here. So stick around. We'll be back in just 1 second. Okay, so as we said, we're going to jump right into it. Should you buy Home Depot stock after the stock has been on fire, let's say for the last 6 months, maybe even more than that, but especially since March, it basically had a vertical move to the upside. Very interesting. So we're actually going to hop right over to the charts. We're going to look at a couple of news stories just prior. Actually, Home Depot earnings are scheduled to come out this morning. Two news stories, something I want to point out, and then we're going to talk about how that affects the bigger picture in the stock. So we're going to hop right over to there, and we're going to look at this one first. And this is actually the earnings history. And obviously, they kept guiding down during 2020. March was actually even lower. So now the question is, can they maintain what they've been doing heading into the end of the pandemic? And the big thing we're going to be watching right now is margins. A lot of the revenue growth that they had on the chart, which you can see over here, came from online orders. And obviously the margins on that are different because less people in the store, they're actually just shipping it out, less help needed. So do the margins maintain what they had, and how does that translate into the forecast going forward? So don't forget, if we look at Home Depot stock right now, and you can see it's been on fire since March. I want to make it clear, something that gets missed often actually, is you're not buying what they did. You're buying where it's going. So the beautiful chart that we just looked at from March, the one that was basically vertical for the last 2 months, has now pulled back a little bit. And we have this pocket of opportunity now where you have a change of trend if it cracks below 315. So we're going to go back to the chart, but the big thing you need to pay attention to, the Home Depot conference call today is scheduled, I believe, for 9 o'clock. So you want to pay attention to that as well after the earnings come out in a few minutes. But the thing you want to pay attention to is margins and guidance. I personally, the way I'm looking at things right now is that it's going to be hard for them to maintain that. We'll see how it unfolds. Below 315 is going to be active day trading for me today, and I'll probably be short selling it. If it cracks that level and guidance and guidance and margins don't come in line with better than expected, it's going to be a pretty decent short sale today. If it trades back up and into that window, we have a really wide window for it to hit back at all-time highs, which is all the way up at 345. That's a little bit longer of a swing trade. So I actually have 2 trades set up today. If it cracks below 315, I'll be looking to aggressively day trade the stock today. If it holds and the margins are good, then we have a swing trade all the way up to 345. So those are the 2 levels that I'm pointing at. And this is really what we're talking about right here. So a buyer of the stock above 315, looking for it to get back up to 345. Below 315, if earnings come out and cracks, it's going to be a day trade to the short side. So I have 2 very, very different scenarios for Home Depot today. So that's where I'm at on that. So what we have going on next is we're going to be taking a look at Bitcoin and Bitcoin related stocks. Are they a buy down here while the market take a hit? I don't know. We'll see. But we're going to first take a look over at Bitcoin. So we're going to pull it up, and Bitcoin futures, we're going to go to the most recent contract, which is the May contract right now. And you can see what actually happened yesterday. We all know the news that happened the last few days, had a big move down, got worse over the weekend, and now it seems to have stabilized a little bit, and it's up slightly. However, so what does that mean? What are the top stocks that we are actually trading right now in our community? So let's be clear. It broke support. There's 2 different trades here. There's an early trade, and then there's the conservative trade. This is the support level that we've been watching. And if it gets back above 48,000, we can get a little bit more aggressive and then look for 58,000, which is a pretty big move, right? So what stocks are we looking to trade? In our community, we've been focusing a lot on Mara, and Mara is pretty interesting. If we zoom out to the hourly chart right now, you can see it's still in this longer term hourly downtrend. And let me just give you an idea of how we'd actually be mapping it out. Now, technically, you don't want to go through any price action when you're drawing your trends properly. So really the better trade here, quote unquote better trade, is this stock needs to get above 23, which is actually right now it's up 84 cents. So that's really the level that we're watching. That would confirm the move to the upside. The other one we've been watching is Riot, and Riot has a very, very similar price action. So those are the two scenarios in Bitcoin stocks that we're watching right now. Let me just pull Bitcoin back up on the screen so you can actually dig in and have those levels for yourself. And let me put this back on the daily chart. So you can see here above 47.5, basically somewhere in that area, we can get back up there. So the Bitcoin stocks are actually reacting better already prior to Bitcoin actually reversing. So those are the key levels. I'm giving you the exact levels I'm going to be watching today and whether or not I should be looking to buy these stocks and the scenarios. It's kind of interesting. Usually futures move first and then the stocks follow. And that's really the right way to do it. So now we're going to take a look at up next, we're going to look at sector rotation and which stocks should we be looking to buy within the sectors that are on fire. If you day traded yesterday, it was a little bit of a frustrating day. There was a couple of pockets of opportunity, but for the most part, the SPY ETF was just sideways the entire day. You really had to dig into the individual groups. We had a couple of really explosive moves in WDC and STX. They actually got what we call the bullish echo. It followed through a little bit stronger. But as far as the sector rotation, this is actually what we're looking at right now. And you can see still over the last 5 days, there's not much going on. Energy, we focused on yesterday. Hopefully you took advantage of that. And those were the, let's say, quote unquote, better stocks to be in yesterday. So the question is, which stocks are the right stocks to be in the energy area right now? And really it comes down to, do you want to be involved in ones that have not already broken out? So CLR is right on the cusp. Hess, which is again another stock that's had good earnings, and PSX got quite a bit of volume yesterday as well. So those are the ones that I'm going to be paying attention to coming out of the gate today. But the big thing we want to discuss here as well is the basic materials. Although it didn't do anything yesterday, so to speak, this is really what I'm looking at right now, and that's where I'm going to be focusing some of my energy today as well. And now the question here is, which ones, right? You don't want to buy the ones that are a little bit extended, right? And that's even exaggeration, right? You want to be the ones that are just breaking out now, the ones that are closer to what we might call an optimal energy. So DD would be a stock I'd be looking to get involved with and buy now. FCX kind of paused, really good, clean bull flag, and DOW. Now, again, it's not a question of whether NEM is a stock to buy. It's a question of whether it's a stock to buy now, and it's pretty far past the breakout. It's pretty far past the optimal entry. This would be more of a day trading scenario than it would be for a new swing trade scenario for me going into today. So as I said, those basic material stocks are the ones that we'd be looking for, and those are the ones that we'd actually be looking to buy. So what other stocks are we going to be watching today? So obviously we have Home Depot earnings today. That's something we're going to keep an eye on. Home Depot earnings, something we're going to keep an eye on today. Really hasn't done anything yet. So what else? Other earnings that are coming out today, we have Baidu as well. And these are all scheduled to come out pre-market. It looks like Baidu reported they're actually up 4% already. And Walmart. Walmart's one that's kind of been stuck in a trading range. It's really been stuck between 138 and 142. Haven't had anything to do with that since over here when this breakout failed. And they had that Flipkart news that came out. Nothing came out of it. And Macy's, actually. Not sure how big of a news story Macy's is these days, but it's still flirting right around $20. So that's something pretty interesting. Two other stocks that we just mentioned before, STX and WDC. They had some good news, and this is actually, believe it or not, a crypto story as well. They're not necessarily crypto stocks to buy, but the news that we've been reading is that people are looking for bigger storage for Bitcoin and crypto mining, and these stocks have been the beneficiary of that. So one other stock that is pretty interesting is Hog. Obviously had good earnings and benefiting from the quote unquote get out of the house theme, when the other side of that is Etsy and Wayfair not benefiting from that, or Zoom. But Hog is an interesting one to keep an eye on today too, as a potential day trade. So that's what we have today. A little bit frustrating day to day trade yesterday. I did not have a stellar day yesterday. I'll admit it. Just one of those days. So today I'm looking to regroup, find some better stocks, and look for some follow through. Maybe even a little bit more sector specific. Like I said, basic material stocks will definitely be in my list of stocks to buy today. Still have Citigroup as far as the long swing trade. That actually still looks pretty good. But at this point, looks like we're going to open up just slightly positive this morning. We'll see if we get some follow through. The big thing in the market yesterday that, and I'll actually go back to the screen, which was not good news, which was this. This looks great, right? We rallied, paused, but this is what has me, I'm not going to say concerned, but not fully feeling awesome, is every day that we've rallied the last 3 days was decreasing volume. That is absolutely not what you want to see. You want to see rallies happening where volume is going up on the way up. We did not see that. So until that changes, my position sizing is going to be a little bit lower until we start to see price action moving in the same direction as volume. Now, there's a lot of stock specific stuff. I love trading earnings. Earnings is a great time to be involved. The volatility is awesome. But you really want to see a little bit of a bigger picture of everything on the same side. Those Bitcoin stocks are going to be pretty interesting today. Home Depot earnings, I gave you the two different ways that I'm looking to either buy Home Depot stock or short sell it. Two different scenarios. And by the way, that's something that I mentioned briefly yesterday about when we talked about Tesla stock. And it's not a forecast. It's basically reading the tape and what's going on. And we outlined two scenarios. We said, if this happens, then, if this happens, then. That's what real trading is. Anybody who thinks that trading is, this is the only thing that can happen and that's what's going to happen, that's not real trading. That's garbage, quite honestly. So if you're looking to do this and you want to maybe even have a lifestyle where you become a trading machine, where you actually are the asset and you're making the money and that's how you live on your trading profits, the proper way to set up the stocks to buy is you have scenarios. If this happens, then I plan to do this. If this happens, then I plan to do this. You're basically scripting your trading success, and that's the right way to do it. If you want to learn more about how we do it and actually get my course, just click down below. I'd love to see you in the community. All right. Have a great day, everybody, and I'll speak to you soon. If you find these videos helpful, definitely click down, give us a thumbs up, and definitely click subscribe. We really appreciate it. Have a great day, everyone.